All right. So, I was debating whether I should follow this trial because the only reason it's getting the attention it's getting isn't because his last name is Biden. It's because the Republicans made such a stink about how basically Joe and Hunter are the same, and that because Hunter did bad things, it was obviously to help Joe as opposed to, he's his own person and he just made his own mistakes. So, anyway, let's just get right to the article. Jurors in Hunter Biden's federal gun trial see the document at center of the case for the first time. All right. Federal prosecutors on Tuesday painted President Joe Biden's son Hunter as deceptive and driven by addiction, a man whose dark habits ensnared loved ones and who knew what he was doing when he lied on federal forms to purchase a gun in 2018. Jurors also got their first look at the document at the center of the case, and Hunter Biden's attorney argued that his client did not believe he was in the throes of addiction when he stated in the paperwork that he did not have a drug problem. In the short time that he had the gun, he did nothing with it, and weapon was never even loaded, Attorney Abby Lowell said in opening statements. So, why did he have a gun? Is what I'd like to know. You will see that he is not guilty, Lowell said. Hunter Biden has been charged with 3 felonies stemming from the purchase of the Colt revolver when he was, according to his memoir, addicted to crack. He has been accused of lying to a federally licensed gun dealer, making a false claim on the application by saying he was not a drug user, and illegally having the gun for 11 days. The case is dredging up painful memories for the president and his family and revealing new and highly personal details about their struggles with addiction as the 2024 election looms, all while the First Lady watched from the front row of the courtroom. Because she actually loves Hunter. The other reason I chose to do this is to contrast the way the Bidens are handling this case with how Trump handled his case. Because the difference couldn't be more stark. Like the fact that Jill Biden was there with him from day one. Jurors will hear testimony from the president's brother, James Biden, aka Hunter Biden's uncle, who is close with Hunter and helped his nephew through rehab stints in the past. They will also hear how Hallie Biden, the widow of the president's late son, aka Beau, not sure why they couldn't just say Beau, also became addicted to crack during a brief relationship with Hunter. Hallie took the gun from Hunter and tossed it into the garbage at a nearby market, afraid of what he might do with it. The gun was later found by someone collecting cans and eventually turned over to police. The president was in Washington on Tuesday announcing an immigration order and hosting a picnic for congressional leaders before a scheduled departure for France later in the day. He will be gone the rest of the week. Jill Biden planned to meet him in Europe. Oh, so she isn't going to be there for the entire trial. Or maybe they expect the trial to be done before she leaves. I don't know. The president's allies are worried about the toll the trial may take on the elder Biden, who's long been protective and deeply concerned about his only living son and his sobriety, who must now watch as those past mistakes are publicly scrutinized. I have to admit, that's got to be so hard for the president because you know he loves his kid. You can see how much he loves both. He loved Bo too. You could tell how much he loved Bo, how much he loves Hunter, and the Republicans are trying to go after Joe Biden for actually being a good dad. Because despite Hunter's mistakes, he still loves his son. Which doesn't say much for the home life of these Republicans that they consider that to be bad. That somehow Joe must be involved with Hunter's schemes because he loves his son? Anyway. Prosecutors on Tuesday spent hours on Hunter Biden's drug problem, using his own words and missive to show the depth of the addiction. And by using his own words, he wrote a memoir and recorded an audiobook of the memoir. An FBI agent read aloud messages to the jury that chronicled his desperate efforts to buy drugs, email receipts for a detox facility he attended before relapsing, and large sums of cash he withdrew. They showed jurors his old laptop computer, the same one he left at a Delaware repair shop and never retrieved. So now we know for a fact that that was legit. There has been, back and forth as to whether his laptop was real. So now we know it is. In 2020, the contents made their way to Republicans and were publicly leaked, revealing highly personal messages about his work and his life. He has since sued over the data breach. As well he should. What the hell, computer guy? I mean, okay, you're not a Biden fan, but Jesus Christ, what are you doing? I mean, what did you think? That Marjorie Taylor Greene was not going to show his dick pic in the middle of Congress because she is just that horrible of a person? Seriously, what were you thinking? I mean, the Republicans have shown they have no shame. And the jury heard lengthy audio excerpts of his memoir, Beautiful Things, in which he narrates his return to Delaware around the time of the gun purchase and his descent into drugs following the death of his brother Bo in 2015 from cancer. The written excerpts were displayed on a screen as the audio was played. His sister, Ashley Biden, watched from the courtroom, dabbed at her eyes with a tissue, and eventually left. Now, this has got to be really, really hard on her. Jill Biden, too, was absent after lunch. She was expected in Washington with her husband. That's got to be tough for both Jill and Joe, that they have to still work. They still have to do their jobs. But at the same time, they want to be there for Hunter. That's gotta be really, really difficult for them. Prosecutor Derek Hines told the jury Hunter was trying to score drugs just days after he lied on the form, which was later shown to jurors. No one is allowed to lie on a federal form like that, even Hunter Biden, Hines said. He crossed the line when he chose to buy a gun and lied about a federal background check. The defendant's choice to buy a gun is why we are here. When the defendant filled out that form, he knew he was a drug addict, and prosecutors don't have to prove he was using the day he purchased the firearm, Hines said. The proceedings come after the collapse of a deal with prosecutors that would have avoided the spectacle of a trial so close to the 2024 election. Right, because the judge deemed it not adequate or something, which a lot of people question if it wasn't Republicans yowling that caused it. Hunter Biden pleaded not guilty and has argued he's been unfairly targeted by the Justice Department after Republicans decided the now defunct plea deal as special treatment for the Democratic president's son. They're just butthurt that Trump didn't get special treatment. So now they're going after Hunter for seemingly getting special treatment, even though what he's being accused of doesn't normally get to this point. But, we can't have it's shown, they can't show favoritism or something. So they're going to favor the Republicans and crucify Hunter just so they can claim a win on something? I don't know. Lowell said the form asks whether you are a drug user. It does not say, have you ever been? And he suggested the president's son did not think of himself as someone with a drug problem when he purchased the gun. Okay. They're trying to play fast and loose, but it's obvious if you listen to that that's bullshit. Even if he doesn't think he has a drug problem. If you use drugs, you are a drug user. Even if you don't think you're an addict, you're still a drug user. So, yeah. If that's their only defense, Hunter's screwed. His state of mind should be considered at the time of the purchase, not what he wrote in a book in 2021. But he admitted he was a drug addict. I mean, are you seriously saying that just because he didn't realize at the time he was a drug addict that he should be forgiven for not acting like he is one? What? Lowell also blamed Hunter's problems with the firearm on Hallie's disposal of it. Okay. After he bought the gun, Hunter did nothing with it. Yes. Lowell said, the gun became a problem only because of what Hallie Biden did. So you're saying that if the police never found the gun, that this would have never been discovered? Well, that may not be completely true, but we don't know if he had kept the gun, if Hallie didn't throw away the gun, if he wouldn't have done something horrendously stupid with it. And I don't mean robbery or anything. I mean, it could have been suicide. It could have been something criminal. We don't know. Or maybe he was just keeping it so when he went for his next score that he didn't get attacked or something. Who knows why he kept the gun. But you can't assume that just because he never did anything with it before Hallie disposed of it, that he never was going to use it ever. If convicted, Hunter Biden could face up to 25 years in prison. Oh, Lord. Though first-time offenders do not get anywhere near the maximum, and it's unclear whether the judge would give him time behind bars. Oh, I hope not, even though I'm sure the Republicans in Congress would find some reason to vilify the judge if he doesn't get the maximum. Anything short of the maximum, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene will yowl. I have no doubt about that, because they want blood. They are upset that Trump who is a white-collar criminal, a convicted felon, that they feel like they have to find and do anything to destroy Joe. And they're going to do it by trying to ruin his kid. Because, Joe hasn't suffered enough in his life. The trial is unfolding just days after Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, was convicted of 34 felonies in New York City. The two criminal cases are unrelated, but the proximity underscores how the courts have taken center stage during the 2024 campaign. Hunter Biden also faces a trial in California in September on charges of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. Both cases were to have been resolved through the deal with prosecutors last July, the culmination of a years-long investigation into his business dealings. Again, this is not something that normally goes to trial. It's normally done in a plea deal. But the Republicans had to yell because their dear leader is being taken to court rightly for his crimes. So obviously they have to go after Hunter, and they're doing it simply to get to Joe. At least Hunter's aware of this, but still, it sucks. But Judge Mary Ellen Noreika, who was nominated to the bench by Trump, questioned some unusual aspects of the deal. Of course she's a Trump appointee. How did I not see that? Which included a proposed guilty plea to misdemeanor offenses to resolve the tax crimes and a diversion agreement on the gun charge, which meant as long as he stayed out of trouble for 2 years, the case would be dismissed. Yeah, those kind of deals are made all the time. What did she have a problem with it? Besides the fact that she's a Trump appointee. The lawyers could not come to a resolution on her questions, and the deal fell apart. Attorney General Merrick Garland then appointed the top investigator, a former U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss, as a special counsel in August, and a month later Hunter Biden was indicted. Yeah, he's also a Trump guy, so... This is where Joe's insistence on, bipartisanship is going to bite Hunter in the ass. Because I'm not saying that he doesn't, deserve something for what he did. But if his last name wasn't Biden, would he really be going through this right now? No. Garland on Tuesday faced members of the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee in Washington, which has been investigating the president and his family, and whose chairman has been at the forefront of a stalled impeachment inquiry stemming from Hunter Biden's business dealings. Right, because Hunter Biden's business dealings obviously had something to do with Joe, because Ukraine and because they can't handle the fact that Trump tried to do a quid pro quo, they have to somehow both sides this, that, oh yeah, Trump did that, but, Joe Biden did this, which he didn't do anything. So, I believe that is the end of the article. Let me just... see if there's any new... Doesn't look like it, so... Oh, there is some more. Let's see. Okay, in one exchange with Hallie, the day after he bought the gun, she wrote, "I called you 500 times in the past 24 hours. Hunter replied less than a minute later, informing her that he was sleeping on a car, smoking crack on 4th Street and Rodney. There's my truth," he added in a follow-up text. But during cross-examination, the FBI agent testified that Hunter Biden sent fewer messages about seeking drugs in October 2018, around the time when he purchased the gun, than in February 2019, a latter period in which Lowell described his client as struggling significantly with addiction. Lowell also called into question the receipts for the rehab facility, asking whether the agent knew whether he had been treated for drugs or alcohol. She said she could not. The jury also heard lengthy audio excerpts of Hunter Biden's memoir. Okay, this part I read already. Let's see. Okay, on Tuesday, a former Trump aide and vocal Biden critic, Garrett Ziegler, attended court, prompting Hunter Biden's wife, Melissa, to approach him and say, "You have no right to be here," and yelling an expletive. Ziegler has been sued by Hunter Biden, who claimed he violated computer privacy laws by accessing and then manipulating the laptop data. So, yeah, she has every right to approach him, and the fact that she only said something instead of assaulting him, well, he should consider himself lucky. Because what the hell, dude? I don't care if you're a Biden critic. What are you doing? I mean, unless there's something, even if there's something illegal, if you see something illegal, you take it to the police, not to the Republicans in Congress. That just says, oh, I don't actually care about criminality. I just want the Republicans to have something to hang over Biden. What the hell? That just says what a piece of shit you are. Hunter Biden also faces a trial in California in September on charges of failing to pay the $1.4 million in taxes. Let's see. Okay, so that's the only new information that I have. So, yeah, I have no idea how long this trial is going to take, but, yeah, like I said, the only reason I'm doing this is because inexplicably the Republicans have made this a political issue. Otherwise, this I would consider this something that obviously is going to have the president's attention because this is his kid, and I feel empathy for him and for Hunter actually. But at the same time, I shouldn't have to be doing these videos because he's not a political figure. This should not have any meaning whatsoever in the political climate. But the Republicans have decided to make it an issue because, I don't know, because they're close, they must be scheming together, because, what father actually gives a shit about his kid? I mean, I really have no idea. What is it about their relationship that makes them so? Oh, I know, because Trump and his family are all grifters, that somehow, because Biden was grifting, Hunter Biden that is, was grifting, that somehow that means Joe does too. Anyway, so that's all I have for this article. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.